Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm really excited to dive into this one with you because, honestly, we're tackling something that almost every single one of us is feeling deep in our bones right now. We're going to explore the hard data behind our downright exhausting work environments, and more importantly, we're going to unpack the incredible science of how we can actually thrive in the middle of it all. So let me ask you a question right off the bat. Are you feeling totally overwhelmed by the relentless pace of modern workplace transformations? If you're nodding your head yes, trust me, you are not alone. I mean, it feels like every single week there's a new software system, right? Or a new org restructuring, or some shifting strategic priority. It can really feel like you're just drowning in a sea of endless pivoting. Well, check out this staggering number, a 68% drop in workforce well-being. A massive global study by Deloitte found this exact drop, and it's caused directly by what experts are calling change fatigue. This isn't just some minor annoyance. It is a huge systemic problem that is literally draining the energy out of the global workforce. Okay, let's look at our roadmap for today. First up, the change fatigue epidemic. Then, global trends and local realities, followed by decoding adaptability intelligence. After that, we'll hit rewiring your brain, future-proofing your career, and wrap up with how business is change. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a scientifically backed toolkit to navigate all this chaos. Starting with Section 1, the change fatigue epidemic and the idea of structural overload. We really need to completely reframe how we think about this exhaustion. Change fatigue is not employee resistance. It's not you being stubborn or lazy. It's actually a highly predictable, deeply human response to structural overload. Just get a load of the sheer volume of disruption here. 15. A third of global employees went through more than 15 major organizational changes in the last calendar year alone. It's basically a permanent state of flux. And what's the result? Well, in North America, this cumulative change load has contributed to an astonishing 83% burnout rate. Think about it. You literally cannot expect human beings to pivot 15 times a year without breaking a sweat. Moving on to Section 2, global trends, local realities. Because this epidemic doesn't look exactly the same everywhere, our experience of change is heavily shaped by our local economies and cultural expectations. Take a look at these stark differences in regional employee engagement. We've got Oceania and Australia actually rising to 78.5%. Meanwhile, Western Europe is on a downward trend at 74.4%. And then look at North America, a really sharp, dramatic drop down to 64% engagement. So why are these regions reacting so differently to the exact same global disruptions? Well, this breakdown explains the why. In Australia, the fatigue is driven by a cost of living crisis, hyperinflation, combined with a culture of very candid skepticism toward leadership. Over in Europe, they're dealing with the massive stress of energy sovereignty shocks and geopolitical instability. And in North America, it's the trauma of widespread white-collar layoffs, mixed with a highly individualistic culture where employees expect their feedback to lead to direct action. When they feel unheard, burnout just spikes. Think about your own region for a second. Which of these drivers is draining your battery right now? Let's get into the solution in Section 3, decoding Adaptability Intelligence, or AQ. This right here is your magic weapon for not just surviving, but actually thriving in a volatile corporate ecosystem. So the crucial point is understanding how AQ differs from what we already know. We all know IQ, right? That's your cognitive ability, which is great for solving known problems. And we know EQ, emotional intelligence, which helps us navigate relationships. But AQ is different. Adaptability intelligence is the disciplined ability to recalibrate in real time. It's about looking at what is suddenly obsolete, letting it go, and adjusting to the unknown without losing your strategic purpose. Psychologists measure this using something called the ACE model, which breaks your adaptability down into 3 core dimensions. First is ability. This is your grit, your mental flexibility, and your capacity to actually unlearn old habits. Second is character, your baseline emotional range and your level of hope when you hit a wall. And third is environment, because, let's be honest, you can't be highly adaptable if your work stress is completely off the charts and your company offers zero support. It's a holistic picture. That brings us to Section 4, rewiring your brain. What if you're sitting there feeling like you just aren't naturally adaptable? Let's zoom down to the micro level, shifting from organizational psychology to literal neurobiology. I want to highlight this definition of neuroplasticity. It's your brain's continuous, dynamic capacity to reorganize its neural networks by forming new synaptic connections. The incredible news here is that your brain is not fixed. It's physically hardwired to adapt, learn, and change at any age. You are biologically built for this. To take full advantage of that neuroplasticity, experts suggest using the LOOP framework. It's a way to take adaptability from an accidental reaction and turn it into a proactive routine. Step 1. Look. You have to find the real signal through the noise of your own fear. Step 2. Open options. Don't just lock into a panicked decision. Step 3. Outgrow. Ditch those legacy habits holding you back. And step 4. Practice. Test it out with small, low-stakes experiments. And, you can supplement that framework with literal brain aerobics. You want to stimulate healthy neuroplasticity? Get 150 minutes of aerobic exercise a week to release brain-growing proteins. Or try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand to force your brain off autopilot. Honestly, just be prepared to clean a little extra toothpaste off the mirror. Also, did you know that just 6 minutes of active reading from a physical book can drop your stress levels by 68%? Crazy, right? And finally, practice mental visualization. Mentally rehearsing a task fires the exact same neural pathways as actually doing it. Section 5, Future-proofing your career. So why does all this brain rewiring matter so much right now? Well, because developing these non-automatable, deeply human skills is exactly how you future-proof your career in an AI-driven market. Sure, AI can process data way faster than you, but it absolutely cannot emotionally adapt to ambiguity. Let's move to the adaptability continuum to see how this builds into the modern workforce. Check out this breakdown. We have 20% who are paralyzed pessimists, totally disengaged. We've got 39% who are anxious learners. They know they need to change, but just feel overwhelmed by it all. And then we have the 41% who are adaptive thrivers. These are the folks actively seeking growth and using high AQ to navigate the chaos. You really want to use the tools we just discussed to firmly plant yourself in that 41%. And finally, Section 6, Business is Change. Let's pull back to the big picture as we wrap things up today. Business, fundamentally, is change, but how we lead through it makes absolutely all the difference. Sustainable transformation in a business isn't about pushing a button or deploying a new AI tool. Just like a massive flock of birds moving together in the sky, it is a collective, human-centric endeavor. It requires leaders who operate with empathy, vulnerability, and a really deep understanding of their team's emotional capacity. If the flock doesn't move together, the whole thing falls apart. I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful quote from the HR Trends research. Change without belief is simply compliance, and compliance does not scale resilience. So if you're a leader, you can't just mandate change, you have to build belief. And if you're an employee navigating this crazy world, ask yourself today, how will you intentionally adapt to your next major workplace shift? Will you just comply, or will you use your adaptability intelligence to truly thrive? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.